Would you look at this? I think we found it. Charleston, 1880 population, and it's 412, scratched out 0. So we found Charleston. Howdy folks, today we are at the town sites of Charleston and Millville, located about, I'd say about 7, 8 miles west of Tombstone. This is actually our second day. We've been here filming. Last Saturday we went to Millville ruins and filmed there. And today we're going to search for the lost Charleston ruins. One is on one side of the San Pedro, and Charleston is on the other side of the San Pedro. This is our last video of 2024. We're going to put together a video to bring these towns back to life and hear from the people that lived in these towns back in the 1880s. I hope you enjoy the video. It's going to be a lot of fun making it. I've already put in hours and hours of research, going to Library of Congress, old newspaper articles. So I think you will enjoy this video, and we'll see you right after the intro.
Welcome to Millville, Arizona Territory, a pivotal hub of silver processing during the late 19th century. Established in 1879 alongside its sister town, Charleston, Millville was instrumental in refining the rich silver ores from the nearby Tombstone mines. The story of Millville starts with the rich ores that Ed Schiefelin discovered.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. People call me a fool. You can call me Ed.
His partnership with his brother Al and Dick Gird. With Schiefelin's early discoveries in Tombstone proving viable, a milling operation now had to be constructed to turn raw silver ore into the currency of silver bullion. Gird would choose the San Pedro River as the location for his mill, and the Corbin Mill would soon follow. Other mills would also locate along the San Pedro. Surface water south of Millville would be corralled by Gird's dam, and during the peak of production, 6 mills would pound day and night from Millville all the way to and past Contention City. Only after water was discovered underneath Tombstone did these mills along the river begin to outlive their usefulness. Richard Gird set up shop for the Tombstone Mill and Mining Company right here in the same building as his home for an Old West miner. Dick Gird was very concerned with style, taste, and quality. Fortress-like, the adobe walls were nearly 3 feet thick, described by the Arizona Citizen as
a model of architecture, and without question, the finest building in southern Arizona. On the north side is the director's room, the secretary's office, and the essay office. In the secretary's office is a large ornamental vault made of 1/4-inch wrought iron with a burglar-proof door. On the south side of the building are the bedrooms and the dining room. Through the center is a spacious hall running east and west, and a broad veranda surrounds the whole building. The Girds had walnut furniture, carpet throughout the house, and each bedroom had a cozy fireplace. The house even had a corner niche for a religious shrine in one of the rooms.
In 1881 alone, Millville produced $1.3 million in silver. Did this kind of money attract thieves? You bet it did. Robberies were attempted, but none succeeded. Gird anticipated the threat. The safe was never used for the silver. Instead, hiding places dug into the adobe walls were hidden with movable panels.
Quite a joyous event of a social nature took place Monday night at the elegant Millville villa of Mr. and Mrs. Richard Gird, the occasion being the first anniversary of their wedding. From 8 p.m. until early morn, the spacious parlors were thronged with the assembled guests of the happy couple. An hour passed in congratulations and social conversations. The guests adjourned to the saloon hall and to excellent orchestra's music, joined in the merry dance until the stroke of midnight when the supper march announced the banqueting hours, and repair was made to the commodious dining hall, where a sumptuous spread was enjoyed and health and long life of the fortunate couple toasted in brimming goblets of choicest vintage. The Arizona Citizen, January 8, 1881.
Frontier high society frequently hosted numerous parties and weddings at the Girds' spacious home. One wonders if the Girds simply grew used to the constant banging of the stamp mills operating on either side of them 24 hours, 7 days a week. Did it keep them up at night or lull them to sleep? Did Richard Gird hear it as the sound of money being made? Mrs. Nellie Gird had many of the luxuries of modern life, even though she was in a town lacking the charm of cities back east. It was an industrial town, and the Girds were getting richer from the industry. As we descend the hill from Millville, the terrain begins to change, shifting from the rugged desert landscape to a narrow trail carved through time. We're on the hunt for a ghost, Charleston, a town lost to history, swallowed by nature and memory. Each step down the hill feels like peeling back a layer of the past, venturing deeper into a forgotten world. The wind whispers through the creosote, carrying with it the faint echoes of a once thriving community. The trail soon disappears into a wash, and we are forced to navigate through the twisting, sandy bed. Every fork in the wash offers a choice, a potential path to discovery or misdirection.
It feels like the sea. It's a nice rock. Ooh, this reminds me of the one video we did. The hydroglyph on the wall. Yeah, that proved that there were aliens because those weren't humans. Ooh, ooh, a piece of that's concerning.
I think it got lost. What do you think, Jack?
I did think that they got lost.
Yeah.
Wait, is this a road? Yeah.
I can't tell what it was.
Okay.
Stop right there.
Wow.
Stay there.
This is
Oh. Move it back in there.
Oh wow, that looks like from the 60s. Look at the fins on it.
Yeah.
I don't say they were in a car accident
A Cornet or a Comet or something, maybe? I don't know.
because they were probably going over the ramp.
Let us know down in the comments if you know what kind of car that was.
I like when the comments are left on our videos. Oh no, my worst nightmare. This is nightmares.
It's easy to see why Charleston has remained hidden for so long.
Well, it's colorful, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, there is water in the San Pedro here.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Sounds like a lot of water.
Yeah,
Sounds like an ocean. That's my.
it's a big step down.
Oh.
Suddenly the trail narrows, and we find ourselves at the banks of the San Pedro River.
That's a creepy eye.
Whoops.
Is that plankton? Is that it? Yes. That's weird. Yes. It makes it colorful.
Is it passable for Jack?
It'll be a little rough, but yeah.
I mean, going down.
Yeah,
Up
that's
and
what I'm saying.
going up and down would be all right for Jack.
Yeah, I can get him through it.
Okay.
Okay. Now, you got a tree and a rock to lean on.
Trees.
Step down.
Well, this isn't as bad as Pepper Sauce Cave getting up there.
No. Okay. Just try to.
I've seen bad. This is
A little rough, but it'll be fine. Okay.
and
Now, one foot's gonna go here, and the other one's gonna come across. You across? Slide yourself. Oh, try not to put your hands in the leaves. Just use the rock. I got you.
and
There
big
you go.
step.
That's the big step. Okay. And then there's a rock over here that you're going to be able to grab onto on the side here. There's a rock right here. Giant rock.
ginormous. Some would say maybe it's what squish plankton in there. Had to get out of it.
Now we're done.
Wow, that I gave that.
The water, shimmering under the midday sun, seems like a barrier between the present and the past.
It is bottom. I do not recommend it to anyone.
Well,
Not even my.
that water's cold. But it's what we do.
We are Jack's Arizona Adventures. We're not scaredy. Tell everyone I like that I love them.
There's no bridge, no easy crossing. We wade into the cool water, the current swirling around our legs as we make our way across.
You know what?
With every step, the sense of adventure grows stronger. This feels less like a hike and more like stepping into an Indiana Jones movie, a journey where the unknown awaits at every turn.
Go through to find these hidden treasures. And you know what I don't see?
What?
Any human footprints.
Human? This is my job. Technically, this is technically my job to do this.
What I'd like to do see it where it's flat?
Yeah.
And I bet that would take us right to
Thorny mesquite trees claw at our arms, and the desert's deceptive silence hides its obstacles well. With each wrong turn, frustration begins to creep in, but so does determination. The idea of what lies ahead keeps us moving forward.
Path right there, Barney, in front of us.
Well, we'll check it out.
Scary adventures. No. Jack's Arizona Adventures.
This river has been high.
Yeah. Jack's Arizona Adventures.
It would be like Bob, scary. No, it would be called Jack's, not Jack. Why did that? It'd be Bob's. Where they don't.
Okay, this over here. This is going to take you to Graveyard Gulch. So, Charleston should be Up there somewhere.
Go ahead, Vendetta.
This is my job, and I've always wanted this.
On the other side, the riverbank rises steeply, and we scramble up the embankment, our hands gripping roots and rocks for balance.
Be careful, Jack. It's a little steep.
Don't bring me back to the canyon. Don't. Please.
Only got leaning forward so far.
At the top, we are greeted by a dense forest of mesquite trees, their gnarled branches forming a natural canopy.
2 thumbs up.
The air is thick here, and the sunlight struggles to pierce through the foliage.
Have that many hands.
The trail grows faint, nearly swallowed by the forest. For a moment, doubt creeps in. Are we even going the right way?
The deer have been through here. I see the tracks.
Then, through a small clearing, we see it. A weathered wooden sign stands like a sentinel from another era. Charleston, it reads in faded letters, followed by population 412. But the number 412 is crossed out, replaced by a ghostly zero. Time seems to stand still as we take it in. The sign feels both like a marker and a warning, a reminder that what once was vibrant and alive has now faded into obscurity. In this moment, we are no longer explorers, but visitors in a place where history lingers like an unseen specter. The sense of discovery is electric, but so is the somber realization of how fleeting even the greatest achievements can be. We stand there in the shadow of Charleston's lost legacy, feeling as though we've uncovered a treasure, hidden not in gold or jewels, but in the stories of those who came before. The story of Charleston begins with a visionary named Amos Stowe. Recognizing that Millville, bustling with miners and workers, flush with money to spend, would create the need for a nearby town, Stowe seized the opportunity to be its founder. On October 28, 1878, he laid the groundwork by recording a claim for 160 acres of relatively flat land intended for grazing and agricultural pursuits. But the location was no accident. It was perfectly positioned across the San Pedro River from the burgeoning Millville, ensuring a steady flow of commerce and opportunity. By February of 1879, with the survey completed by Tombstone's own A.J. Mitchell, Stowe wasted no time bringing his vision to life. He began offering lots in the newly plotted Charleston, free at least for a few years. The only condition: the lessee was required to invest $100 in improvements to the lot within a specified time frame. At the end of the contract, they would then need to pay Stowe the value of the land, improvements included.
The old Charleston map, and it had like 5 streets this way, about 3 or 4 streets the other way.
There's a window over here.
It was an arrangement that allowed settlers to establish themselves without the immediate financial burden of purchasing the land outright. In honor of the surveyor, one of the main streets in Charleston was aptly named Mitchell Street. While this approach fostered rapid growth in Charleston, it came at a cost to Stowe himself. Without requiring money down, he struggled to meet his own financial obligations.
A place to celebrate, I'd say.
Less than 7 months after the town was surveyed, on August 14, 1879, Amos Stowe was forced to surrender his properties in Charleston and Tombstone to creditors. Despite his personal losses, his vision gave rise to a town that would become a key part of the region's history, a vibrant settlement born from opportunity, ambition, and the allure of the San Pedro's silver boom. The story of Dick Gird's ventures across the San Pedro River is one of remarkable success, but it was not without its share of challenges and controversies.
Just think it was a fully built house or building at one time.
Imagine this was a house, a fully built house. Wah, 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 wah.
Stamp milling, essential for processing ore, demanded a significant water supply, far more than the gentle surface flow of the San Pedro River could provide. To address this, Gird made the bold decision to construct a dam to collect enough water to power both his mill and Frank Corbin's mill. This ambitious project quickly became a source of contention. The scale of construction and its impact on the surrounding environment sparked heated debates. Ultimately, the responsibility for overseeing the dam's construction fell to one of Gird's trusted partners, John S. Vosburg, who took on the monumental task of managing the project amidst the mounting challenges. Of his involvement with the dam, Vosburg stated,
"We were leveling and working retaining walls for the mill proper, making roads to and into a canon of the Huachucas, 9 or 10 miles, up which, about 2,000 feet, was a considerable flat on which were the aforementioned pine trees. After Gird had shipped the sawmill equipment, from there, Ham Light was to take it on big wagons and on to the Huachuca Mountains."
If you like this video, give it a like.
There was so much to be done, and time was of the essence, as real capital was on the line. Vosburg described the exciting and chaotic nature of that time.
"We made a contract with the Mormons from St. David to come with oxen and hard rocks, of which there were plenty, and dump loosely into the breakup to the required height. Had to make about 1.5 miles of ditch and flume to carry the 1,000+ water to penstock. After using the water, it was returned by short tunnel to the river again, still as wet as before."
Though Vosburg was not a miner, Gird's understaffed enterprise required all the assistance it could obtain.
I was to superintend the planning, laying out in the work there of the foundation for the 10-stamp mill. As yet, there was no dam by the mill site, and no mill by a dam site.
There's the San Pedro. Wow.
The construction of the dam brought with it a wave of controversies that would haunt Dick Gird during his time at Millville. Ranchers and other stakeholders fiercely contested the amount of water from the San Pedro River that Gird's and Corbin's mills were permitted to use, leading to ongoing disputes and arbitration. Nature, too, proved an adversary. When floodwaters surged through the region, they sometimes tore through the dam with devastating consequences. One report vividly described the aftermath.
The breaking of the mill dam at this place and the recent rains have made the San Pedro very high. A man who attempted to cross the river above here on the 28th had his horse drowned and barely escaped himself.
The mills themselves posed significant dangers. Former mill worker Sam Aaron later recounted the hazards faced by those who labored in these operations, painting a picture of the perilous conditions of the time. As William Miller recalled,
"Charleston was a fair-sized town for those times. There were 2 quartz mills busy crushing the ores from the Lucky Cuss and the Tough Nut mines. Ham Light had, I think, 7 to 16 mule teams hauling the ore. I was well acquainted with Mr. Light, as my father had been wagon boss for him in Pioche, Nevada. There were several stores, saloons, 2 blacksmith shops besides Light's shop. No regular livery stables, but 2 or 3 corrals or feed yards. There were riders there running night herds. The Clantons run one, and the Drew brothers another, besides a monthly day herd. Gird and Schiefelins ran a 4-mule bullion wagon to Tucson, 75 miles away. Also carried some mail, made 2 round trips a week.
One time there was a fight in the feed room between the feeder and the charge wheeler. The feeder hit the charge wheeler with a shovel, shoved his body into the furnace and his lunch can with him, leaving no evidence behind him. About 8 months after this fight, this man took sick and held his secret until he knew he was going to die. He then confessed on his deathbed.
While the land around Millville might have seemed an ideal location for a new community, much of it was owned by the Tombstone Mill and Mining Company.
Oh, that's what?
I go this way.
Is this a... Whoa. Yeah. Duck, go to the side.
Additionally, one of Dick Gird's principal partners, John Vosberg, enforced a strict prohibition on alcohol within the company's property. This policy, coupled with the limited availability of land, played a significant role in fueling Charleston's rapid rise as a bustling hub just across the river.
I recollect there was some good deal of dissatisfaction with Mr. Vosberg. He did not want no liquor brought onto the mill site, wouldn't allow it, and he objected to the men going across the river and getting it.
Once the Gird Mill, followed by the Corbin Mill, began operations, the boom truly ignited. Reports from the time capture the scale of production.
The Tombstone Company's mill, referring to the Gird Mill, is now running through from 15 to 20 tons of ore per day and has already turned out over $90,000 worth of bullion.
Meanwhile, the Corbin Mill faced delays due to the unforgiving hardness of the rock into which their grade was being cut. Supporting these operations required an incredible logistical effort. Working for Gird, Ham Light's 16 mule teams hauled an estimated 40 to 50,000 pounds of ore daily, ensuring the mills maintained their relentless pace of silver production. News of the growth and offering of Charleston would find its way into the Tucson newspapers. A citizen correspondent at Charleston reports,
It is astonishing that this place, comparatively of recent growth, is visited daily by troops of strangers, some merely coming for the sake of the pleasant drives with which the vicinity abounds, but the majority making arrangements to locate themselves permanently, which is a noticeable fact, for new buildings are every day commenced, and those already in progress are hurried toward completion.
As Charleston and Millville grew, the increased population and traffic brought attention to the challenges of crossing the San Pedro River. Despite its usually light surface flow, the river posed significant obstacles. Reports of quicksand in some areas made crossing treacherous, and the summer monsoons frequently turned the river into a raging torrent. Nearly 2 years before the creation of Cochise County, Charleston was still part of Pima County, and its residents began petitioning for a bridge to ensure both safety and the continuation of commerce. Many Charlestonians argued that their tax contributions to Pima County warranted such a project, insisting that the county fund the construction of a bridge to span the river and better serve their growing community.
The San Pedro River at Charleston was so high that the Harshaw stage could not cross. The mail was floated over and brought up on a buckboard. Miss Maggie Gray, who has been seriously ill since her narrow escape from drowning in the San Pedro. A few days since, we are pleased to learn is recovering.
Pima County showed little urgency in addressing the call for a bridge at Charleston. The thriving Tombstone mining economy had already sparked discussions of creating a new county with Tombstone as its seat. Meanwhile, Pima County seemed content to collect taxes from Charleston without providing significant infrastructure in return. It wasn't until the formation of Cochise County that the matter was resolved. The newly established Board of Supervisors recognized the need and ultimately funded the construction of the much-needed bridge, fulfilling a long overdue request from the residents of Charleston. By May of 1879, there were about 40 buildings, mostly adobe. A post office opened on April 17, 1879, and a schoolhouse was built west of town. Businesses flourished and included several general stores, butcher shops, restaurants, drugstores, liquor stores, stage lines, livery stables, hotels and boarding houses, blacksmiths, and even an ice plant. The population peaked to over 400 men, women, and children around 1881.
My mother was the first white woman in Charleston, and as there were only a few tents in the place, we had to camp until Father could build an adobe house. It was just rough adobe walls, with a roof made by placing a few poles across the top, and laying ocotillo very closely across the poles and piling dirt on the ocotillo. Mother Earth made the floor. Bothered by drunks, Father went to work at the sawmill in the Huachuca Mountains. No saloons were allowed there. Amy Haviland Hitson, April 1879.
Besides the mining industry, smugglers helped to make the merchants of Charleston rich.
Springer and Hackle's General Merchandising. The establishment was replete with a full new stock of general merchandise and a fine selection of dresses, ladies and gents, furnishings, household grocery, toilet, and fancy goods. The crockery department had been selected with special regard to the requirements of this country and included patent lamps, fine glassware, and choice dinner, and tea sets of excellent quality and durability. The grocery department was strewed with delicious California and foreign fruits, preserves, canned goods, and jellies. Also were the choicest and most popular brands of imported and domestic cigars and a large assortment of liquors and cordials. The Arizona Citizen, November 13, 1880.
Ernest McClure was a United States Deputy of Customs. By strict attention to business principles, courtesy, and fair dealings, in less than a year's establishment, their trade has increased to such a degree as to necessitate treble the storeroom of their present orders. They are now erecting a new store adjoining the one at present occupied. The Tombstone Epitaph, January 15th, 1881.
Jerry Barton, Saloon and Dance Hall, one of the most noble criminals of the territory, and boasts a record of killing 12 or 14 men in his life. In conversation, he is somewhat arrogant, but very insinuating at times. He has a slight impediment in his speech. The Arizona Citizen, October 16, 1881.
Justice James C. Burnett earned his fame as Charleston's Justice of the Peace. Stories abound about Czar Burnett that attests to his cavalier ways of keeping the peace. He simplified the justice system by holding court on the streets, assisted only by his gun. He then promptly collected the fine, which he kept as income. If nothing else, a person did get a speedy trial. It was rumored that stolen cattle filled his butcher shop. A wealthy rancher, William Cornell, Colonel Green, and Burnett had been arguing over Green's dam. One day, it was destroyed by dynamite. Tragically, Green's young daughter and her friend drowned in the torrents. Distraught, Green blamed Burnett. Later, Green gunned down Burnett in front of witnesses. With every good lawyer in Cochise County working for him, Green was acquitted. Still, Green paid for his crime. It was rumored that the jurors were able to rely on a touch from Green for years after. Even though the jury was convinced, it was later proven that Judge Burnett did not blow up the dam. He may not have been an innocent man, but he paid the ultimate price for a crime he didn't commit. Nearby, Tombstone was born into legend with their gunfight between the Clanton gang and the Earps. The Clantons owned a saloon in Charleston, preferring its easier justice system. Judge Burnett didn't require anyone to check their guns like in Tombstone. Frank Stillwell and John H. Behan owned 3 businesses on Pioneer Street in Charleston. Behan was deputy sheriff of Pima County before becoming sheriff of Cochise County in 1881. Wyatt and Virgil Earp believed that Stillwell, being friendly with the Clantons, gunned down their brother Morgan on March 20th, 1882. Wyatt Earp shot and killed him in the Tucson Railroad yard.
Nothing more has been heard from the Earp party since their killing the Mexican Florentino in the Dragoon Mountains. It is reported on good authority that they proposed to kill 3 more men who they believe were a party to the killing of their brother. Then they will leave the country or surrender. 2 posses are after them: Sheriff Behan of Cochise County with 18 men and a party of cowboys from Charleston numbering 21. If they are overtaken, a terrible fight will ensue. It is believed that they will elude their pursuers and return to Tombstone any hour and attempt the murder of Pete Spence, who has been arrested on suspicion. Parties just in from Tombstone say Spence is in jail and has been armed so as to defend himself if an attempt is made by the Earps. The Tombstone Epitaph, March 27, 1882.
The last days of Charleston is told by Mary Wood.
I'm Mary Wood. I recall Charleston only possessed one street, Main Street. 2 good-sized adobe stores, McClure's and Herrera's and Zeckendorf's, a little wood restaurant and 2 small saloons, several shacks, and the residence of storekeepers. The stores were well stocked as it was to and from Charleston that much smuggling was done to Mexico.
Thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you get the notion to.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Put a lot of hard work into it. We'd appreciate it if you can give it a thumbs up and share it so other people can enjoy the video. We're here at the spot for our next video. We're going to take you to Little Baclila's Ranch. A lot of history. It's been there when this area belonged to Mexico. That's how old this ranch is. In 1946, it was a film setting for Red River, starring John Wayne.